For a full week now, Tel Aviv and Tehran have unleashed bombs against each other. Despite their claims, the targeting by both sides has not been confined to nuclear and military installations. Residential buildings have been struck. Hospitals have been attacked. In what could be called a signature move, Israel bombed Iran's state broadcaster.
The fact that we're seeing Israel bombing a media building while a broadcast is on the air, I guess if you've spent months murdering Palestinian journalists in a genocide, well then this is nothing. The Israeli argument is that the mouthpiece of the Iranian government is a legitimate target to be bombed. But Israel itself has channels that put out not just propaganda, but actually incite hatred. People on air use genocidal language. Would anybody consider those channels legitimate targets? Of course not. But Israel gets away with it because of the brazen impunity they've normalized.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
At least 130 Palestinians have been killed this week trying to collect aid. That's according to local medics and the Hamas-run health ministry. Remember, the way people can access aid has fundamentally changed this past month. There are 4 distribution sites set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation where people have to go to collect aid, along with other smaller operations run by the UN and charity kitchens. And there have been multiple reports of Palestinians being killed and injured in the process of getting aid. Some video has been circulating like this one, which shows hundreds of people carrying bags of aid in northern Gaza. Elsewhere in Gaza, in the southern city of Khan Yunis, we verified video where we can see people running before we can hear a loud bang. We traced what appears to be the original video, which is shared with a caption linking it to an aid-related incident. We asked the Israeli army about this, and they told BBC Verified that they'd identified a gathering next to an aid truck that got stuck in the area, and in proximity of IDF troops. They said they're aware of reports regarding a number of injured individuals from IDF fire, and that they regret any harm to uninvolved individuals.
تا لحظه آخر که بتونیم میمونیم. I've come to Turkish-Iran border crossing here in Kapikoy or Razi, which is one of the major crossing points between the two countries. Unlike what was expected, it is not overwhelmed or even crowded at the moment. There are small groups of families who are coming through that little gate from Iran trying to get to Turkey. این تکه رو میتونم استفاده کنم؟ همین تکه‌ای که الان گفتی نمیشه ما پخش کنیم؟ سه روز منتظر بودم تا برسن. Quite an emotional moment for this young woman who has been waiting for 3 days to reunite with her close friends who traveled all the way from Iran to arrive here in Turkey. But earlier, I had a chance to speak to some families who were trying to get back to Tehran, and I asked them why. خونمونه دیگه. بالاخره زندگیمونه، خونمونه، نمیتونیم تخلیه‌اش کنیم. تا لحظه آخر که بتونیم میمونیم. ببخشید ما فکر کنم ماشینمون رسید و برم. ممنون، مرسی، بفرمایید.
Targeting of journalists. Confirmed journalist fatalities on June 16, 2025. Israeli airstrikes hit the IRIB state TV building in Tehran during live broadcast. Nima Rajapour, editor-in-chief of Iranian, and Masoum Azimi, an IRIB secretary, were killed by shrapnel injuries following the strike. Media Condemnation. The Committee to Protect Journalists condemned the attack, stating that Israel applauds bombing of Iran's state television, killing at least 2 journalists. Sources corroborate. Reuters reports that Israel targeted 3 hospitals and several ambulances in Iranian strikes, as part of a broader campaign that included media buildings. Analysis. These are confirmed deaths of media personnel resulting from strikes on IRIB, which Israel claims targeted propaganda facilities. Independent verification, for example, from CPJ is limited, but state journalists and media union sources cite to deaths, supporting serious concerns about press targeting. Displacement and homelessness. Iranian Displacement, UNHCR, indicated that strikes and power outages in Iran have led to internal displacement, with many losing access to shelter. Mass evacuations, after Israel warned civilians in Tehran to evacuate near targeted sites. Hundreds of thousands fled the city, indicating large-scale displacement. Israeli civilian impact. Conversely, Iranian missile attacks triggered by Israeli strikes have caused homelessness among Israelis, damaging homes and displacing residents in Tel Aviv, Bnei Bat Yam and more. Broader humanitarian impact. Civilian toll in Iran. Over 400 Iranians, mostly civilians, have been killed, with thousands injured in Israel's strikes so far. Israeli casualties. Iranian missiles killed at least 24 civilians in Israel and injured hundreds, displacing many residents. Healthcare under siege. Iranian retaliation. Destroyed or damaged hospitals and ambulances. In Israel, a missile hit Soroka Hospital in Beersheba, injuring dozens and prompting evacuation. Summarily. 1. Press under fire. Verified journalist deaths in Tehran. Mark a disturbing escalation strikes. Hit media buildings during live broadcast, drawing condemnation from press rights groups. 2. Widespread homelessness. The conflict is causing mass displacement on both sides. Tehran evacuees, Iranian cities disrupted, and Israelis losing homes to Iranian missile fire. 3. Humanitarian crisis intensifies. Healthcare systems are strained. Civilian infrastructure and shelters are compromised, with global leaders warning of legal and ethical violations. Final take. The claim that Israeli operations are actively targeting journalists is substantiated by the documented deaths of IRIB staff during a live airstrike. Likewise, the assertion that these strikes have rendered many homeless holds true even accounting for displacement on both sides. What is emerging is a full-blown civilian crisis. First-hand casualties among media workers, displacement of hundreds of thousands in Tehran, and displacement of Israelis. Collateral damage to hospitals, shelters, and residential zones. This is becoming a deepening humanitarian emergency. Press freedoms, civilian safety, and international legal norms are all coming under serious threat. Stay updated as we keep you posted on turnout of events around the globe. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Did the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
No, they didn't help. No. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us. Europe is not going to be able to help in this one.
20 years ago, you were skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked a Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. You know, there was the nuclear age, but nothing like it is today. And it looked like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already.